Hey, Facebook, it's Sarah McLeodry from Synergy Behavior Solutions, joining you on actually a gorgeously sunny, beautiful Pacific Northwest Portlandy day. It is Tuesday, and today we are going to talk about hesitant hounds, shy dogs, worry dogs, things like that. Um, so it's kind of our joke around the office. My joke around the office is I always say for our shy or worried dogs is let's not scare your dog. How about you just stop scaring your dog? And that may sound simple, but sometimes it's a little bit harder than you think. And especially with a dog who is hesitant or scared or shy or nervous about lots and lots and lots of different things. So, how can we help them do that? Dr. Volley, of course, wanted me to put it on a positive spin of like, how can we support our shy dogs? I always just say, stop scaring your dog. Um, so it's my little sassy side of it. So what we see a lot of times with our what we would dub a hesitant dog or a shy dog is dogs that are scared of lots and lots of different situations, and lots of noises, situations, kind of life in general gets them worried, and they live in this constant state of stress and arousal and anxiety that's really hard to take down a notch and help them. And so, how can we do some simple things to do that? One is trying to first think about boosting confidence, and how can we boost their confidence by, but also not scaring them. And so, a lot of times we'll see dogs who will maybe they're food motivated and they will do an activity that you're asking them to do, but they're not really in it. They're doing it, but they're not feeling comfortable. And Dr. Volley has a saying that fine is a four-letter word, and they may look fine, but for that moment they do. That doesn't mean that they're going to be fine the next time or it's even going to get better. Most likely, if they're just fine, you're setting your training back. So how can we avoid that fine is a four-letter word? Really looking at body language, interactions. I talk a lot about start and stop signals in my care with consent classes, and in my hesitant hounds classes, and really watching when your dog is asking you to take a break, to stop, and teaching them that they don't need to escalate past just a simple concerned look, and that you are so in tune with them that a simple concerned body language will get you to stop and put things away. Um, we do know that one of the best ways to boost confidence is getting dogs to use their noses. So I used to be a certified nose work instructor. I let my certification lapse, but still was. Um, Getting your dog to use their nose. And so first starting with simple problem solving games with some nose work concepts and building from there. You don't have to ever compete, or even take formal classes, but the more you can get your dog out there and have them use their nose, they can start problem solving independently. It really makes a big difference to boosting confidence for a lot of dogs. So starting simple in your house of just, scattering treats around your house, then maybe putting them up on objects, then maybe outside your house, maybe out in your garage, backyard, building it up slowly as they are comfortable and really making sure that they're having fun while doing it. We don't want to, let's say, there's like maybe a box that they're scared to interact with. We don't want to put the treats on and in the box if they're going to run up, grab them, and bolt again. That doesn't change their emotional feeling about it. I might want to put the box in the room and do nose work that has nothing to do with the box, but the box is present. So there's not that social interaction pressure that we see so often. People want to take their hesitant dog and have them interact with the thing that scares them, but that's a lot of pressure for a lot of dogs. So, building up their confidence of like, oh, box is in the corner of the room, I can still do this fun scenty game, and then slowly having that box be a little closer, a little closer, a little closer. Maybe treats are around the box, but you build it up slowly and systematically while the dog is feeling comfortable and excited and engaged, not in that snatch and grab mentality, which is not a fine place to be. That is not a way to help your hesitant dog. Which brings me to In having your hesitant dog interact with people to socialize them or to get them comfortable being around people or dogs. They do not need to interact to be comfortable, to learn how to be comfortable around people and dogs. um, I would much rather have my dog learn to hang out near a new person and be really oblivious to the person, not really care about them, than trying to get that person to feed my dog treats, things like that. I would want my hesitant dog to build confidence with me that I'm not going to put them in a scary situation by feeding them treats in the presence of a new person, but not having the new person interact with them until your dog chooses to be ready. And even in that case, making sure that the new person maybe doesn't interact with them, that the dog goes up and checks them out, and then you give them a treat and build from there. That's still socialization. It doesn't have to be interaction to be socialization. And the more that your hesitant dog learns that you are not going to put them in scary, worrisome situations, the more comfortable and confident they are going to be that you've got their back. So I see that a lot where people are like, oh, have people feed your dog. Or I used to do a lot of conformation showing with AKC, and dogs who were worried about getting examined by the judge, they would just put a dog, especially with small dogs that are shown up on a table, they'd put a dog up on a table and just have person after person after person after person after person come and examine the dog. And they would get treats while doing it if they were willing to eat. But that really goes into flooding and not desensitization and counter conditioning, and not building the confidence for the dog, especially for a small dog up on a table where they don't have an escape route. They don't have ways to communicate that they're getting stressed. They're limited in their ways to say that they're getting stressed and anxious and they need to leave. And so what do they do when they feel like they need to leave or getting anxious? They growl, they snap, they escalate in other ways. And so really making sure that you're not flooding your dog, but working on how can I systematically desensitize to a person coming up and saying hi to my dog. We're seeing this a lot with the curbside veterinary care that is still going on with COVID. So a lot of dogs are very hesitant to either walk off away from their person with a stranger, or they're afraid to cross the threshold into the vet hospital. And so how can we make that a game? How can we practice that where we can't go into the hospital? And so we do a lot of games with the client and the patient, the dog, walking up to the door, having a jackpot party and leaving, not even interacting with the staff, not going into the door, but just teaching them that approaching is a good thing and that really great things can happen that way. And we're taking out the social pressures of being in that situation. So we've got some viewers out there. Anybody have some questions that are specific to your hesitant or shy dog? Do you have specific situations where your dog is shy? Frequently vet, groomer, those kinds of situations. Have there been anything that you feel have been helpful? This also ties into yesterday we did a meme about belly rubs. And so there's that whole issue of dogs showing their belly. Is that a invite for a belly rub, or is it a please stop signal? And really for most dogs, it is a please stop signal. What happens that's kind of weird for dogs showing their belly is maybe your dog is shy and nervous and they show their belly, and you read it as they want snuggles because it's your own personal dog, and you start rubbing their belly and the dog starts to learn like, oh, that felt good actually, because they can learn that. That's reinforcement. And then all of a sudden your dog starts to ask for belly rubs, but they're really conflicted. And so it gets into this weird squishy place for body language of, you really need to look at the big picture. Are they sitting on the couch with you and your like worried dog is sitting there snuggling with you, kind of nothing's going on, and they roll over and they want belly rubs? That's a belly rub invite. If you are a person that's new to them, approaches and they show their belly, that is not a belly rub invite. But people still see that. And so people come up like, oh, can I pet your dog? And you maybe say, oh, they're a little shy, they're a little nervous. Give them a moment. And your dog does that. And they go, oh, great, your dog wants belly rubs. And your dog was saying, no, thank you, please go away. So that's a big one to think about too for that. If you thank you, Kona's Touch. If you have a hesitant hound, change the smoke alarm batteries before you need to. So I know that Kona's Touch Laura Dorfman has been having an issue with her smoke alarm batteries chirping. So actually, this is a really good one for dogs who are noise sensitive. So she had an issue the other day where the battery was going off in the middle of the night and they couldn't figure out, of course, because of course when the battery goes off in the middle of the night you can never figure out which smoke detector it is. And then they realized it was a smoke detector that's about 20 feet up in the air, and they didn't know where their ladder was, and it's 1 in the morning, and you really shouldn't be on a ladder at 1 in the morning. So that actually is a really great reminder that if you have a noise sensitive dog, really be on that 6 month change your smoke detector batteries frequently. I actually had my smoke alarm go off the other day. And so Lindy, my toller, she can be a little sometimes worried about different noises. And smoke alarms, when they go off, are so intense. And they were going, my whole house is hardwired. So all of them go off if one of the smoke detectors goes off. And it's very loud. And that's a situation where one time learning could really get her worried and make her very worried about that sound, that situation. And so as soon as it went, I keep a jar of treats right by my stove where I cook, just in general. It's where one of my places I stash treats. And I immediately grabbed a handful and just started doing jackpot treats all over my kitchen and house while my son figured out how to get the smoke detector off, and we got windows open and all that kind of stuff. And I just kept doing little jackpot treats all around, just partially distraction, but also good old classical counter conditioning. I wanted her not to think that the smoke detectors going off was a scary, horrible thing, and not to want to be in my kitchen anymore, because our kitchen is attached to our dining room. It's where the dogs eat, all that kind of stuff. I think last week we got a nice little tour of my house. So, anyone else out there with hesitant dogs, how can you think about not scaring them? So, besides changing your smoke detector batteries, which is a great suggestion, the I think too about, we talk a lot at Synergy about train for the situation, not in the situation. So, if you have a dog who is worried about, kids, and you're not going to put them in the middle of a park and expect them to be able to handle it and um, be okay. You got to work towards that situation. All right. Diana asks, my dog doesn't like to be groomed, but needs to daily by me. I've tried to build it up slowly, but it has long, tangly fur and I can't leave it. I've run out of ideas. All right. So that's a cooperative care hesitant hound issue. Um, my first thing always, Diana, is definitely check and make sure that you're using the best equipment for the situation and for your dog's coat type. I am a very big believer. I actually like combs way better than slicker brushes. I think slicker brushes hurt personally. So I like combs, and also using a really good detangler spray. Ask a couple groomers, if you know anybody who is a groomer, ask them what their favorite one specifically for those little fur tangles, because that can make a big difference. Having the right equipment, having the right stuff. And then work with some of our dogs. To be honest, what we've done is, if we have really, I've gotten to a bad situation, is we will do a sedated groom where the dog is sedated at the vet to groom them completely down, and then start fresh and really start as the fur comes back, to maintaining it in a much better way. But then you're not dealing with a lot of fur and a lot of tangles. Obviously, working on you have to be careful with using distraction in that situation, but working on, is there a way that you can work on a lickable distraction, either with a licky mat or one of those suction cup toys that sticks to the walls so they can lick on it while you're doing some brushing. And the other thing too for combing and brushing that I like to do is break your dog into quadrants. So left front, left rear, right rear, and work on one quadrant a day, so that it's not so overwhelming for you, not so overwhelming for your dog. And then my last thing is, if you have to have them in a certain position, is working on that position separate from grooming. So I'm working on Rizzo. Yeah, she might be able to see her. She's back there sleeping on top of the crates. Rizzo, even though I'm a trainer and even though I teach the toenail class, I sometimes don't have time to train my own dogs, and their toenail stuff is a little eh. So Rizzo, we've been working on laying on her back and letting me be able to trim her nails that way. And when I do trim them, she doesn't love it. She gets lots of cookies. We're really working on making it more comfortable. She's doing way better. And then I make sure at the end of the session, I spend a lot of time with her in that position, just getting cookies for being in the position. And then I'm working on training that position outside of nail trimming too. So it's not always about nail trims. Diana said, he's not matted as I do it every day, but I feel bad for him. Yeah. So I don't know what kind of breed it is, but definitely like I have a friend with bearded collies, and the amount of grooming that they have to do to keep that coat in a good maintenance. The other thing actually that sometimes people do is they have these little like jammies that are designed to help keep stuff out of dogs' fur and things like that. And that might be something to look at too. That maybe if you don't have as much time to groom, is keeping him in jammies so his fur doesn't get as tangled as otherwise. Um, but definitely speaking with a groomer to find the best shampoos and detanglers, and then finding out what the best equipment is for that, I think is really, really important. And if he has to go to the groomer, besides you combing him and brushing him, is trying to, golden doodle. Okay. And the golden doodle's coats can vary so widely. So it kind of depends on how curly he is versus fluffy and things like that. Um, and just really making sure that you're going to stopping by the groomer when they're not, even when they're not open. Like the game, like I was saying about walking up to the door with the vet, we do that actually with a lot of clients for grooming too, is when they're not open. So you don't have to worry about the pressure of a staff member coming out and saying hi and things like that. Just going out, hanging out in the parking lot, getting treats in the parking lot, going up to the door, things like that can really make a big difference to help not scaring them. Also, to Diana, I will recommend I teach a care with consent class. The foundation class would be a great class for you to take. It's not on the schedule right now, but it's coming up. Probably will come up again. My guess is maybe May. So keep your eyes open both on our Facebook page and on our website, because that is a great class. I know there's some people here hanging out that have taken that class. The other thing is we are running if you have a general shy dog, we are running a Hesitant Hounds class starting next Tuesday, actually. It's called Hesitant Hounds Homeschool. It is one of our online classes. What I love about our Hesitant Hounds Homeschool class is we used to teach a in-person version before COVID, and we switched to an online version. And actually, I will never do a in-person Hesitant Hounds class again. The stress and anxiety of having those worried dogs come into the building really makes it difficult for clients to learn the concepts. And so we love our Hesitant Hounds homeschool class, and it's just a great way if you have a dog who's worried about, a variety of situations, easily gets overwhelmed or scared. Every week we work on training skills that will help. Uh, we work on training skills, we work on concepts, we also work on confidence building skills. Every week's a little bit different. So that's a really fun class. You can sign up on our website, synergybehavior.com. McKenna has a question. Any tips for how to get a dog comfortable going downstairs into tunnels or underground passageways? Ooh, that's a good one. One of the first thing I would think about with that is the stairs. So are the stairs open face stairs, and they where they can see, not only open face where there's no back to like the tread, but also are the tread itself see-through? Because if that's part of it, I would definitely work on trying to find staircases that satisfy those constraints outside of the tunnel and underground walkway. Tunnels and underground walkways have very distinct scent to them. They definitely have, just that water, musty, sometimes other smells to them. So definitely that's a component. Also to a lighting component. So if I was going to work on this, I would start working on the stairs during daylight hours so that they can see better what's going on. If I had to do it at night, I would definitely maybe put a headlamp on so that they can see what's going on. I would work a lot on approach to the first step, treats, and then treats for walking away, and work on approaching, treats, walk away, and really work on approaching and giving, not only getting treats for approaching, but also giving treats for going away. And then I would work on each treat, each step, one more step, treats, walk away. You're going to do lots of ping ponging back and forth and taking the pressure off. So, really, if you work on a lot of that foundation of I approach, get treats, and leave, can really, it's not about always going all the way down the stairs and all the way through the passage. Um, and trying to figure out other ways around until the dog is trained, which may be tricky depending on if like this is a passageway into like your apartment building or property or something like that. But definitely taking that pressure off, ping ponging back and forth, I think would be really helpful for you, McKenna. And also remembering high value treats. So really working on figuring out what your dog loves. But I would not do treat trails up there. I would let the dog choose to approach, reward, and release, not trying to lure them instead, letting them have it be more of their decision about going forward and marking any behavior of forward. So you might have to start with just looking at the tunnel or the stairs, mark and reward away, and then building it till you get closer and closer. I hope that helps, McKenna, give you some ideas on that. It's a little bit of the treat and retreat concept going on. Diana, excellent. I'm glad I could help. Hopefully that gives you some ideas on how to work on some of that shy grooming stuff. It's hard when you have a fluffy dog that needs to be groomed all the time. I do all of my own grooming for my dogs for a couple different reasons, but I have dogs who don't love it, so I work on that myself. I have actually a professional level grooming tub and a grooming table and all that set up. And I do a lot of practice actually going out there and getting in the tub and on the table without doing grooming. Kind of great tips. Thanks. Hesitant to eat treats when she's scared, but we can try to work on taking her other types of rewards. And also, just really backing it off, like checking that first moment where she's like, "Whoa, we're going towards those stairs." That's your moment of the treat starting and the retreat. You might not be all the way at the stairs before you can start that process. So hopefully that will help. Well, I think we've done enough time. Oh God, we've gone long today. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Once again, I'm Sarah McLeodry from Synergy Behavior Solutions. I hope I've given you a variety of ideas of things that you can do to help your hesitant hound. And once again, we are doing a hesitant hound homeschool online class starting next week on Tuesday. And in the evening, I think it's 5:30 Pacific time, but we always welcome people from all over. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you, Jamie, for hanging out. If you are watching this later and have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will do our very, very best to get back to you. Also, you can always send us a direct message too here on Facebook or on our website at synergybehavior.com. Thanks so much. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.